It's an understatement to say this. This has been a busy few weeks at the state capitol as the state legislature adjourned its 2018 session on Friday. But one of the bigger issues in recent days was, of course, the teacher walkout and the push for more education funding.
All eyes were on this man right here who's joining us. So we want to know what happens next and kind of take a look back at what went right and maybe what went wrong. We've got Arizona Governor Ducey joining us this morning. And I know it must have been a huge relief for you to see those teachers go back to school.
Well, it was a great success for the teachers, a great success for the kids in the classroom. I think it was a big win for our parents, too. There's a lot of pressure on our parents when teachers aren't in the classroom. They have to find daycare or bring their child to work, or sometimes these kids eat breakfast and lunch at school. So we were able to get the teacher pay increases over the finish line. It'll be a 20% teacher pay increase by the year 2020. We're really excited about it. We think these teacher pay increases were overdue, they're deserved, and the teachers have earned these. So I was able to sign it about 6:10 a.m. on Thursday morning. We worked very closely with the legislature to get this codified into law, permanent, ongoing, and in the base. So our teachers can look forward to these pay raises over the next several school years.
This education funding measure, was this the same one you proposed on April 12th? And if so, in your opinion, was the walkout entirely unnecessary?
Well, these were the details that we released on April 12th. And I think the walkout was avoidable, but my job is to present a budget and then get it over the finish line. So we've been talking a lot about public education in my administration and focusing on teachers. We had some new information in terms of the economy that said not only can we talk about what we're going to do this year, but what we're going to do over the next 3 years. We put that out there on April 12th. We were able to pass it on last Thursday, and I'm excited about it. I feel good about it. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and I think this is a fitting week for what they do, which is hard work inside the classroom. And it's not just about more pay for our teachers. It's additional dollars for the support staff. And the good news is in our schools, we are getting results. Arizona children are leading the nation in improvement in math and reading. That tells me that our teachers are not only doing their job, they're doing a good job, and I'm grateful for that.
Oh, we've kind of winced over that our classroom funding was in the bottom 5 of the country. Do you think that we'll see movement in that in relation to our peers? I mean, to be competitive, to draw business, to draw new families to the area the public schools have to deliver?
Oh, sure. We'll see a lot of movement, but I've tried not to make the level of funding the measure of success. Okay. I want it to be the outcomes and results that are happening in the classroom, but the funding's important. That's the only way that you can achieve a teacher pay raise. That's the only way you can reward support staff or counselors and crossing guards and bus drivers. And now that we've got that evidence of a real return on the investment, I feel very positive about what's possible with K-12 education going forward.
I know you campaigned on improving education. It was in your State of the State address. Why did it take a nationwide trend to see these teachers walk out to finally give them what they deserve?
Well, what I would say is we've been focusing on education since I came into office. If you remember, in 2015, we were able to pass Proposition 123 this session before the teacher pay raise. We extended Prop 301 20 years, which gave, you know, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of certainty in K-12 education. And now with a booming economy, people moving to our states, businesses growing, and our population rising over 7 million people in the state of Arizona, we have the dollars available to move a significant raise forward. The raise last year was 4.3% for our teachers. Average teacher pay in the state is $48,372. With this increase, the average teacher raise in 2020 will be just north of $58,000. So it's another positive step in the right direction.
Where do you stand on the ballot initiative of Invest in Arizona that would levy a tax on our wealthiest?
There's a lot of talk about raising taxes. When I see our economy booming like this, when I see the population increase, when I see the unemployment numbers at the lowest since last time they were this low, people were renting their movies at Blockbuster. I say, why would we want to stop that? Why would we want to pour cold water on that? Now, I want to understand the details of the tax increase. It was just released. I think it's 9 or 10 pages, so the devil will be in the details. But right now, our tax coffers are growing at a rate where we can commit this type of pay raise to our teachers, add $100 million for support staff with a commitment for $371 million over the next 5 years. We're in a good financial position and situation. I don't want to see anything get in the way of that.
Talk to me about the school voucher program, because a lot of teachers, they were concerned. They said, okay, you put more funding into public education, but the school voucher program actually takes away money from the education funding, and they were concerned that...
I think it's important people understand this. One, we don't have a voucher program in Arizona. They're unconstitutional. We do have an empowerment scholarship account. That's for foster kids or disabled kids or kids on tribal nations who actually need access to an education that they can't find or isn't available for them. And the law that is being put forward doesn't take any money out of the general fund. Actually, quite the opposite. It showed that it saved the general fund money. So that's something as we head into the campaign year and the election year, people will be getting the facts out there. But this idea of an educational savings account of a parent who has a special need for their child and needs to access that choice, we think that that's a good idea, and it's part of the whole public education narrative. We want to make sure that all of our public can access a quality education, and in Arizona we're taking positive steps in the right direction.
Before we wrap up, we know that we did not make the progress you wanted to on the school safety measures that you had proposed and sat down and talked with us before. Where do you stand on that?
Well,
what was your reaction to all that?
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I think there's more that we can do there. School safety is a top priority. We were able to get for behavioral health and counselors inside these schools. That's important. But I also think our principals and our superintendents and our teachers, along with law enforcement, need tools when there are situations where there's someone that shouldn't be inside that school. So there's more to do there. There's always more to do at the end of a legislative session. At last year's legislative session, we had more to do on the opioid epidemic. We came back and knocked it out with a special session in the first week. You can look for that kind of action going forward.
Really quickly, are you worried about any political fallout from the walkout?
Well, that's for the people. That's for the voters. What I think we were able to do is increase teacher salaries on average 20% by 2020, add dollars to K-12 education, and we've got an improving K-12 education. So my focus right now is, one, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. I hope they feel the value that they have from the citizens of Arizona that helped get that over the finish line, and of course their voices were heard as well.
Yeah, very empowering
Yes, very
moment
much so.
for our teacher community. So, Governor, thank you so much
Thanks so much,
for your
Olivia.
time. Appreciate seeing you
Thank you.
today. Let's head on over to Gina. Gina?